Okay, so I worked a little bit more on the ideas that we were talking about, creating a progression of light to start building the volume of the form. And again, what I was focused on was trying to maintain that idea of we're starting light at the top and basically working darker. So my lights up here overall should be a little bit lighter than when I come down here. There's like a curtain effect of, or like a lamp or a window shade sort of drawing down, so the light is sort of weakening as it comes down, and also weakening across this way. So to build the form, I need to keep those ideas in mind. So everything that's an up plane, you know, again, like here, is going to be lighter. I've tried to be very literal here so that you can see how I'm thinking. Light up top of the shoulder and then down, and then the chest up plane and then down, the rib cage up plane down. So it's these steps, these like planar steps that I'm trying to create. And then again, that starts with making sure that you articulate to yourself what the form is first before you start putting the light down. You have to have an idea of what that planar movement in space is before you assign a value, so that your values are connected to the volume, right? So same thing moving from right to left. As things, you know, move from the light, which is over here on the right, to left, I've got to maintain that progression of lighter to darker to darker. And if I interrupt that, if I go lighter to darker and then lighter again, then that's going to break the illusion. All right. So those are sort of the big ideas. And they're very simple, but you have to keep things simple. And I think it's important for you to make the values work. Like right now, my middle values are a little on the dark side, but I did that because I wanted to see the form happen. Like sometimes when you've got a really light situation like this, sometimes it's hard to see the gradations. And so what you've got to do is sort of understand what the form is and then make that happen on your page first before you get more subtle. Okay, and then the last thing is just, again, I'll come up close. You know, I'm trying to commit to the idea of making shapes out of light, mid-tone, dark, and then any values that I add, I need to do the same thing. So I'm trying, you know, here I'm outlining in charcoal the principal sort of shapes that I'm looking at, so that you know, I'm thinking of each tonal progression that's making the form as a particular shape. And again, that ultimately is going to make more sense to you when you really understand what's underneath the surface and understand the anatomy of the form. Then you realize that these shapes have to be specific in order to capture the anatomy. All right. So anyway, on the Crocus Cafe, the drawing that you did, the first part, if you can make an attempt on this. And again, you don't have to go far. I mean, really, you know, 3 or 4 values, like, you know, 2 or 3 values in the light, and you can even leave the shadows pretty simple. Like, as you can see, like you know, if most of your drawing is in the light, then you don't have to do a whole lot in the shadow for the time being. I mean, eventually you'll make the same kind of form judgments in the shadow based on reflected light coming in, moving from lighter to darker in a particular direction, and the same kind of planar idea will manifest itself there as well. Okay, look forward to seeing your drawings.